Alright guys, hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the High Elves led by Manlom facing off against Slaanesh, who shall be helmed by Barl Sharkley here on the Imperial Road, and let's go ahead and break down these builds. So for the High Elves, it is going to be a flying circus. High Elves have been doing this for a long time. Back in Warhammer 2, you would often see, dragons and Alariel healing them up, and it still happens these days. Eltharion quite good for that, and he does also have a sniping ability. Granted, I guess if you did go for Larry, you could also get Arcane on Forging, which would be good against Slaanesh. But yeah, Eltharion a little bit of a better fighter. So we have Eltharion the Grim Warden, backed up by an Arcane Phoenix and the ROR, both of which are decent against Slaanesh. They can definitely do well against armored infantry, do magic damage against demons. Just got to be careful to not get them surrounded and beaten down on the ground. Now, spells. It's going to be Apotheosis for healing, very necessary against Slaanesh, and then we have Soul Quench as well. Soul Quench, a decent little sniping ability, so we'll see how that goes. On the back point here, it is going to be Phoenix Guard and Silverin Guard. So the idea for this High Elf build is basically to hold your back objective at all costs using some expensive spear and halberd units, and then use your monsters to slowly grind out the game. For the Slaanesh army, we have Hellstriders, Marauder Horsemen into the Sunset, and it is going to be Inkari here. Inkari, pretty beast mode, Pavane of Slaanesh, Phantasmagoria, both are very, very good spells, and then we do have Acquiescence as well, and I assume we have the Wit Stealer Sword in there for the big damage buff. Yeah, that's going to be that. Alright guys, the battle is on, and Slaanesh is going to be taking the field out of the gates. Curious what High Elves are going to call in. I mean, obviously the Phoenixes can do a lot of work with Eltharion. It's a big old Airforce there, but you're going to need a little bit more meat to push forward. Probably, if I had to guess, what's going to happen is the High Elves are going to reinforce Objective 3 with another unit, and then when that's ready, they'll send the Phoenix Guard up to the middle with the monsters supporting them. But right now, they're kind of just getting bullied by these Marauder Horsemen. They're getting pushed back here, and that's going to be 4-8, 12 stat capture weight, which is actually more than the Elves have in the point. The Elves have 10, and the forces of Slaanesh have currently, like I said, they're 4-8, 12, 16. So definitely using the ammo in Phoenix Guard isn't terrible. They have, of course, 110 armor, but they don't have shields. So throwing them at the Phoenix Guard wouldn't be a bad idea. But it looks like he wants to save all of his ammunition for the big flying monsters, which is also very respectable and a good call. Fiends of Slaanesh in the back being called in, Inkari lurking in the shadows, and some of the Marauder Horsemen going to be disengaging to chase the Phoenixes. Granted, I think they should have stayed and threatened to capture that point. I do think that was a bit of a misplay, but not the end of the world there. Because, like, if you're worried about Inkari being sniped, you just move Inkari over by these Horsemen and by the Hellstriders, and you're going to be chilling out. So, Silverhelms and Silverhelms. Silverhelms are decent in this matchup. They do trade pretty well into Hellstriders, considering that they have high armor and decent combat stats, but Hellstriders also give it back to them a little bit. So it depends. If like a head-on charge happens, oh, what is that? What witchcraft? Oh, that's the AoE from the Riders of the Mighty Serpent. All right, so the birds move in, but Slaanesh does steal the objective, and the Phoenix squad does manage to pick off a couple of horsemen, nothing too crazy, but Pavane of Slaanesh activated. So when you get Pavane by Slaanesh, you should just run the other direction. And it looks like he's going to do this right now. Granted, he could also bring in his troops to help him, but Inkari, just with a full rage boner, gets in, and we do start to see Eltharion getting absolutely blitzed here. Unfortunately, his Fang Sword, the Phys-Res, doesn't matter because of the fact that Inkari does do magic damage. But Inkari going to be taking some work as well. Eltharion the Grim Warden getting hammered pretty bad. Phoenix is doing a little bit of a bird poop on these guys, but the Phoenixes should be pulled back right now and should be attacking Inkari and trying to swing that battle back. Because, oh man, Eltharion's really getting it. Thankfully, he's super high leadership and is able to get away with an Apotheosis, and is there going to be a follow-up here that's going to be effective? Inkari surrounded, taking a lot of damage, but does have good enough mass to push through these units, and is he going to come back with Eltharion and attack in? This is the time where you need to extract your Blood Tithe from Slaanesh. You need to get in, punish Inkari, drag down a lot of HP, and see what you can get done. But yeah, that fight against Eltharion was quite nasty. But the birds are on the move, and we do see 5,200 HP down to 47. And Inkari has a way to heal when it's near, running units, basically. But outside of that, this HP is going to be what you got. Phoenix Guard going to be battling against Forsaken. It's a fine enough fight. Soul Quench activated right there. Able to do some good work against the Forsaken infantry. But the birds are the word, man. And again, they're really quick. I mean, 120 speed on these Phoenixes is actually faster than Inkari, so they are able to keep pace. And Slaanesh is going to need to use some Fiends or something because this is going really bad. And we do see Inkari running away right now. Hellstriders coming in, Inkari just barely stabilizes, and the Hellstriders might be able to screen it. Okay, they do get the counter surround on Eltharion here. You don't want to be charging with these Marauder Horsemen. Just using the Javelins there would be good. But it looks like the Greater Demon of Slaanesh is going to be in massive danger here, as the Silverin Guard will be able to defeat these guys. Silverhelms trading into Forsaken is fine, and the birds getting it done, pecking out the eyes of the Greater Demon of Slaanesh, and that is rough. Now, if Slaanesh wants a chance to win this game, they really need to counterpunch and get Eltharion down. But they did mess up by blobbing and trying to pin him in place. Oh, look! Oh my god, rallying with 137 HP! But the Phoenix is getting the bird poop attack right there and doing some nice work against those Marauder Horsemen. And oh my god, what a moment right there. Jeez Louise. So Manlom just barely able to escape there with Eltharion the Grim Warden. It was a pretty big blunder by Barles, though, to send in all those horsemen in melee. If he had just put him in guard mode and thrown javelins at Eltharion, it would have been a guaranteed kill, basically. But, you know, understandably, he wanted to trap him in place, so it's an easy mistake to make. The Grim Warden trying to get away here, but Hellstriders and Fiends all up on his case. He's sitting at about 1,000 HP, as we do see some Seekers of Slaanesh being called in. Is he going to be able to get away? 900 HP, as we do see the Horsemen charging into what appear to be Silverhelms in the middle. Not going to be a good charge. And Eltharion the Grim Warden does break, and now the other birds are slightly surrounded. Fiends of Slaanesh against the Phoenix is not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, it looks like they really want to kill on Eltharion the Grim Warden, and down he goes. The Slaaneshi heretics claiming vengeance. So now both armies leaderless. This is going to be a really interesting game. I was going to say if Eltharion had survived, it probably would have been a more or less consistent high elf victory from here on out. But with him going down, it certainly evens the scales a little bit. Backside here, Fireborn coming in. The two birds going to be retreating back to the spear units, getting a little bit of support there. Phoenix Guard will trade well here. I mean, they have 110 armor, really high melee defense, and Physres. So Forsaken are going to take a long time to get through them. So they'll hold and do well for the donut. That is for sure. Giga Chad Fireborn coming in, though, engaging against Seekers. Fiends are there. It does look like an advantageous fight for the High Elves, and this is the right play from Barles. You want to retreat. Like, that's not a winning fight for you. You want to lure the Fireborn into an overextension and then, like, counterpunch them, right? You don't want to just be, like, head-up grinding with them, unless you have to, of course. But he's running here, kiting with a little bit of Marauder Horseman ammunition, and the Chaos Furies of Slaanesh are really good, and now, he pulled, that's exactly it. Nice play by Barles. He pulled the Fireborn away from the spear support, and then counterpunches them with the big Alpha Strike. That's exactly how you do it with Slaanesh. That was great. But the birds are coming in, and one thing, man, Manlom's Phoenix play has been really fun this game, and he's been doing these awesome attacks here using these Phoenix dives, and that one didn't connect super well, but some of his other ones have been very, very good over the course of this game. All right, Spearman and Phoenix Guard heading up to the middle, and what are the High Elves going to call in? I suspect we might see Eltharion get resummoned, brought back from the Abyss. Wouldn't be a bad idea. He probably still has a lot of, like, when you're resummoning a Lord, there's so many variables you have to consider, but one is, like, if it's a Wizard and you still have a ton of Winds of Magic, usually it's worth it, and you're going to get the leadership back. But if you're really pressed on the battlefield and, getting triple caps and you need some agency on the objectives, usually resummoning your Lord isn't a good idea. Seeker's getting us around on the Arcane Phoenix now. Marauder Horseman getting some good throwing attacks right there. Very, very nice. The Omen of Isurian probably wants to come help his homie out, not let him get trapped up right in there. Slaanesh looking to be back on the menu a little bit as we get more Dragon Princes being called out. Phoenix Guard going to be trying to hold, but this is a great play by Barles as well. Using the Furies against Halberds, brilliant, because they're infantry sized and they have huge AP. So that, at the end of the day, is a very, very good play. The Phoenixes are just going to have to clutch this. So the Arcane Phoenix, I think, does have a rebirth ability. So that would be pretty catastrophic for Slaanesh. If they both got the rebirth abilities and healed up, that would be really brutal. Let's actually read it. I know what the Flamespire ones are like, but yeah, the Fiery Rebirth. All right, let's see if he gets it, man. I don't think it's a guaranteed proc. There's a percentage on it. And if he gets broken and chased off the battlefield, it doesn't really matter anyways. Chadley Dragon Prince is arriving to the middle. Phoenix Guard hanging in there. And are we going to see the rebirth on these guys? Nope, it goes down. That's really rough. Yeah, the Fiery Rebirth right here. Yeah, I'm looking at this. Okay, chance of the unit dying instantly, but chances of gaining hit points, so kind of swings both directions there. Okay, so Omen of Isurian back up in the sky. Rangers coming from downtown to try and reinforce. And elsewhere, guys, what do we have cooking here? Omen of Isurian sitting at 30 leadership, but Slaanesh could maybe do a play on the back objective. Those Phoenix Guard have been holding all frickin' day, though. That is for sure. Yeah, I think resummoning Eltharion would be a good call, because you have all those Apotheoses to heal up the Omen of Isurian. The Soul Quenches on the infantry. Middle objective is going to be taken by the High Elves, but Slaanesh is going to be making a play on the black point here. And it's very getting sketchy, because Slaanesh is getting to the point where they could maybe win on one objective, and then if you get to that point and they're just bouncing around, trolling your objectives, man, it gets very, very tough. So what's the calling going to be? 1,400 points probably saving up for Eltharion. The Omen of Isurian is fleeing the scene. Good High Elf position, Silverin, Phoenix Guard, and Rangers. It's a nice combo of units there that should be able to hold well. Dragon Princes definitely want to charge into the Phoenix, or not Phoenixes, the Fiends here, a little bit different, and get that charge bonus. And it looks like they're going to. Charging Hellstriders is also good. As long as you get that charge bonus, that's living life right there. So there they are. The Omen of Isurian should come and drop its bombardment if it can, while Rangers are just chasing things down. Good fight, though, so far for the Princes, man. Hanging in there like absolute champs. And is the Grim Warden back? No, it's going to be 2 Silverhelms. So he decided, I think he figured he couldn't wait for the Grim Warden. He had to just go for it. And are we going to see the bombardment here? Oh, he goes in. Think about Slaaneshes are immune to being terror-routed, which is so insanely strong. Like, normally, like, most factions would be mass terror-routed right there, but Slaanesh, like, a lot of their units just keep fighting, right? Good narcissism, really nice. Yeah, that's going to lock him down. Oh, the clutch heal, the fiery rebirth, baby. That is a game-changing thing that he got that. Okay, so now there's a huge, healthy monster on the battlefield, which is going to be a menace to deal with. And the High Elves are going to get this point back. As it currently stands, I think they lose on just the two, but it's barely, right? It's barely. It's close. Yeah, I'd have to look at do some real math in my head. But Rangers getting swarmed and beaten down here. I think he needs to play it patient and grind and try and triple cap Slaanesh at the last second using a big Cav Death Star. The Grim Warden, I don't know if he's going to return. Phoenix Guard maybe getting charged by Seekers. We'll have to see. But yeah, having a healthy Omen of Assyrian here, nice one right there. Able to come in and cook some of those heretics. Those guys going to be getting cooked up and not having a good time with it. Phoenix Guard going to be getting flanked by the Seekers of Slaanesh. And the battle continues to rage on, ladies and gentlemen. What a great battle between these two players. Really, really bombastic start with a lot of like damage on the Lords and Heroes, but now it's kind of really come down to the core pieces. Silver Helm's getting a good one. Really nice nail into those Forsaken. Forsaken's 85 armor does mitigate a lot of damage, but Silver Helms have good stats and a big charge bonus, so they can definitely fold them up. Here comes the Silver Helms here, getting beaten down by the Furies and the Hellstriders. Unfortunate for them. The Omen of Assyrian trying to help out and do what it can, as we do see more Silver Helms being called into the back. Rangers, you could just leave them on that back objective probably, or unsummon them if you need more troops. It depends on the current situation. Silver and Chads, though, anchoring it out. And we do see another Silver Helm coming in, like I said, chasing off the retreating Hellstriders. The High Elf Cav in the back winning and holding the objective. That's actually huge. If that objective had flipped there, that would have been a disaster. And Slaanesh kind of looks like it's petering out a little bit. Slaanesh is a faction that can tend to blow its load a little bit and then really just want to sleep afterwards. And it kind of looks like that might be the case here. We do see the Chaos Furies getting it. Seekers of Slaanesh getting folded as well. Spears able to grind them down. And the High Elves, I think, might be clinching the game right now. Seekers are out, and Seekers of Slaanesh do well if they can get the charge, but if they're like in an equal fair fight where they get charged also, they have a bad time. Their armor is very, very low. Fury's disintegrating at like half health. The big bird here is also still in play. Omen of Assyrian sitting at 3,500 value. Talk about clutch, right? And now he can make a play for the back objective of Slaanesh. What a knockdown, drag-out game, man. Silver Helm's taking a lot of damage, but giving it back, and they do have the Phoenix helping them, so that they should be able to... I mean, they're probably going to break, but the Phoenix will finish the job there. While the High Elves are going to be sending their Spearmen to the back objective. And all they need to do is hold that back objective for like a hot moment, and then they're going to be able to win on the other two. So what do we have being called in from Manlom? It is going to be some Spears. And for Barl Sharkley, we do see the Seekers of Slaanesh grinding relatively well. The Omen of Assyrian anchoring it down. And I think the High Elf player realizes that he can't afford to lose the middle, so he pulls his Silver and Guard back, gets the Rangers in. Got to get something to that back objective. Probably going to be a light Cav like a Reaver. Those Forsaken over time could steal it. And he does charge down with the Silver Helms, but you gotta focus on that objective, that's for sure. Gonna need to get that. Slaanesh's mobility, man, you can never count him out. Very, very menacing, as the Silver Helm's gonna come in and maybe he'll break this position for the donut. They do get in, and the demonic forces of Slaanesh suffering against the remnants of the Dragon Princes, and the Omen of Assyrian is really the clutch piece. Yeah, that's GG. Slaanesh's basically tabled. That was their like last vestige of power. And yes, so a little bit of gremlin play on the backside, but the Cav are gonna be able to go back there. That's gonna be a triple cap. Seekers coming in. But at this point, the High Elves can, by the time Slaanesh, even if they can get this back, they're going to be so far ahead on points, it's not going to really be possible. So grinding, Spears fighting here, you know, Marauder Horsemen on their way in, and that is going to be a victory for Lothern. What a freaking game, dude. Wild ass shit in the beginning. But that Rebirth, I think, clutched it. If he didn't get the Rebirth on the Omen of Assyrian, I think Slaanesh wins the game. It was that close. All right, so looking at the value, Eltharion got bullied a little bit, but the Phoenix is 1,700, 3,800 on the big dog. Fireborn and Dragon Princes did fine, of course. And looking at Inkari, kind of got wrecked a little bit, but it was still very fun to see. And aside from that, probably Seekers, yeah, and Hellstriders doing pretty well as usual. Mainly Seekers. All right, guys, GG well played. Hopefully you enjoyed that replay. And well played to Manlom and Barls. We'll see you guys on the other side. Take care of yourselves.